Can't lie, she's a genius. Pull up, let's get high. Mars, we on Venus. I just like the way her lips moving. Zakanama. What it do, flight crew? FTC. You ain't even ready, man. What's wrong with you? Sit up straight. Get ready to stand up like you care, bro. FTC. Flight team, stand up! Hey, man, we back at it again with another So Fresh It's So Clean reaction. Coming off of dropping that So Fresh It's So Clean top 10 Billboard hit 2-3 days ago, man. Just want to say thank you guys so much, man, for a tremendous report. Bro, I said tremendous report. Tremendous report now. Tremendous support. We hit a milli on an audio-only version song in just 2 to 3 days, you guys. Clap it up. I better see hand clapping emojis in that comment section right now, FTC, man. Because we're the strongest nation right now in 2020, bro. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Clap it up. Clap your hands emojis. I will be having a reaction to everybody, reactions to the So Fresh or Clean news song, Disingenuous, on the other channel. It will be about an hour long. I have it around the weekend, so be sure to get y'all reactions in around before Friday, and I should have it out on the other channel. With that being said, man, a lot of you guys were spamming up another So Fresh or So Clean heat reaction, and this is low-key long overdue. It's the Before We Were Famous biography, brought to you by Michael McGruder and his entire team, man. First of all, I just want to say shout out to him. I remember he had hit me up, I think a week prior to this video actually being uploaded, and he was just like, do you mind if we do a biography before we were famous? And I was just like, of course, you know what I'm saying? Been a fan of you guys' channel since I started, you know what I'm saying? He ended up sending me like a one-page spreadsheet of just like, you know, quick facts and everything like that. I only had like an hour or two, you know what I'm saying, to do everything. But I tried to do my best to get all the facts since I was 0 years old to 24 years old, what I am right now, man. So this is my first time actually watching this. I purposely didn't even watch it at all. This was released last Friday. Last Friday too, if you guys can clearly see, I got them So Fresh and So Clean 360 wet 360 waves. Look, bro, I know you guys are concerned. Hey, you got a haircut, Flight. COVID-19 reacts, this and that. Relax, you know what I'm saying? My barber was mad sanitary, you know what I'm saying? First off, foremost, I was actually his first client because he's only cutting people from home and everything like that. I was his first client that came to him because apparently everybody else, he was too far to begin with. He actually was a far drive, but regardless of that, it was his first time. He wore a mask and gloves the entire time, didn't take off the mask the entire time. Lysol the heck out of me as soon as I got in there, as soon as I left. You know what I'm saying? So don't hate just because I look so fresh, so clean. Hate the game. With that further ado, man, we're going to check out the Before We Were Famous, man. Hopefully this is accurate, man. Hopefully they have some nice basketball highlights because as you guys know, June is around the corner. We got to look good for these NBA scouts. Let's check it out. Yeah, man, like I said, this is low-key long overdue.
What happened?
But, you know what I'm saying? It's 2020.
What?
We made it up in here.
What? What happened? Before FlightReacts would inspire a Steph Curry meme that went so viral that even Curry himself hopped on the bandwagon.
Yeah, look at Curry, man. Just trying to do
Sports Center and everything.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, we gotta look at this like 10
Curry,
times,
man. Trying to do
Facts, yo. I had to look at it like 10 times, yo. Facts, yo.
Yeah, look at Curry.
Shout out to Curry, man. You know, actually, too, he actually gave me another shout out, too. I had that reaction on my other channel already, but you know what I'm saying? I really messed with Curry a long way, man. He's just a humble ass NBA player. He's just out here to do some inspirational things, man.
Things in the world, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, this is just inspirational,
look at Curry, man.
Bro, I'm gonna watch this quick clip for like 5 minutes, bro. This is inspirational, bro. I don't care what anybody says, bro. I had to watch it like 5 minutes straight.
Before FlightReacts would have over 250,000 followers on Twitter, almost 400,000 followers on Twitch, close to 1 million followers on Instagram, and over 4 million combined subscribers.
You know what doesn't make any sense? I'm just noticing this. How am I verified on YouTube and Twitch, but I'm not verified on Instagram? Like, I have 1 million on Instagram and even on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? YouTube and Twitch are bigger platforms than Instagram and Twitter combined. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I don't know what's going on, but yeah. Hopefully we get that fixed soon, man.
at the time of this recording, before Flight Reacts would start dropping banging rap tracks of his own.
Hey, heard Gucci with the Robin James. I done made $1 million, now I'm ready for the 3. Got
Flight
your
Reacts
hands
has
on
been
the
around
line,
for a minute,
tryna
creating
hop up
viral
on
content
the
for
team.
YouTube and other platforms.
Hey.
Now my man's been holding down the fort since the early part of this decade, which is actually around the same time that I first started this channel as well.
Really?
He's a brother from another mother.
Oh, we are?
Now the kid, he is blown up off his reaction videos from anything like trick shots.
Oh, I need to do reaction of trick shots again, yo.
He definitely got the sauce. How did he do that? Look how little room he has. Look how much little room he has. Bam! Bam!
It's time to eat. Let's fire up the grill.
Bro, they was killing them trick
The
shots,
women
though, yo.
judging his looks.
Yeah, you know the name, girl.
Hey, and by the way, all you ladies that's doing ratings and smash or pass challenges, you better give your boy Dirt Reacts, especially where I'm at right now, and especially with June around the corner. I only expect to see 8s and up. You know what I'm saying? If you don't give me an 8 and up, I'm gonna roast the shit out of you when I react to these videos eventually. Because you know I'm gonna do the updated reacting to 2020 people, ladies liking my shit. You know what I'm saying? Or smash or pass and everything. Ladies, come correct because I'll roast your life away. You know what I'm saying? So I let it slide before in the past. But this time around, it ain't gonna happen. Come correct with the ratings, man. I blowed up.
what's
Give you my
up, man?
But
respect.
his bigger than life personality, well, he's taking
Cash.
the internet by storm. And that's without even mentioning
They need
the
to do it
series
before
of
the famous
content
on
he
Cash.
posts involving
Low key.
sketches, basketball players. There's pranks, there's basketball players, there's video games.
Facts.
And yeah, well, even more basketball players. You know, during hard times like these, when the world doesn't have any sports, well, at least we still have Flight Reacts holding down the fort.
We got
The
to,
front of
only
this
right,
video
man.
is actually able to get
Hey, man, all jokes aside, I just hope you guys know whenever you guys say things like, because I like to be humble with certain things, man, but you don't understand how harder that motivates me when people say things like, oh, you're really helping me get through 2020 or you're carrying 2020, bro. That just makes me turn into an ultra super saiyan and makes me go 20 times harder, bro. Because, you know, I can only imagine, you know, sometimes when you just sit back and just realize, like, not everybody is going to be doing YouTube, not everybody's going to be streaming or doing music or everything like that. Like, there's real talk, like, people right now, like that, you know, or offer, you know, their job or offer their, you know, school and everything like that, that literally have nothing to do but play the game if they have a video game at the crib or watch YouTube videos, you know, all day, or Instagram or TikTok or whatever, man. So, you know what I'm saying? Just know I never take this for granted, man. I'm always trying to improve myself and make sure I'm at my tip-top funniest form, man. And yeah, man.
Contact with the man.
Inspirational-ish, man.
By answering a whole bunch of questions. So this one, it's kind of like a collab video.
Facts.
Sorry,
Secret
George.
collab. I just didn't have the
Who's
camera
ready to
on.
go? Because I ain't, bitch. Let's get it.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Michael McCartan back at it again with a brand new Before They Are Famous, and this one was requested by you guys, a whole bunch of ya. Now in the past, we've done similar videos on the likes of Chris Smooves, Corey X Kenshin, RDC World, and Love Live Surf. Now, of course, this show, it works off requests from you guys, so you gotta let me know who's next in the comments down below.
Bro, I have like the most perfect lineup in this photo too, man. Shout out to Michael Magruder, man, making me look good for the ladies and everything, man.
You can also hit me up in the DMs at McCruddenM or at the number down below. But text me. Stop calling me. I can't be getting any sleep because you kids keep blowing me up. So just text, all right? Now let's get into this video. Hey, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell. Boom! FlightReacts was born Kamani White on August 7th, 1995 in Washington, D.C. Now, Flight, he spent the first year of his life living in the D.C. area, but at the age of 1, his family would pick up and move to West Palm Beach, Florida.
And that's, you know what I'm saying, exactly what happened, you know? A lot of people get confused and they just be like, hey, Flight, you're not really a Florida boy. You're from D.C. You're lying about where you're from. Stop saying Florida. Shut the fuck up, my nigga. Shut up. Shut up. I don't care what anybody says. If you literally were born in a place and don't live there until you're at least 6 or 7 years old, I'm not from there. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm never going to forget, you know, obviously I have a little bit of that DMV roots in me, and I respect that because I fucked with the DMV heavy. You know what I'm saying? But I only stayed there till I was 1 year old. I couldn't even tell you what's the most poppin' club to go to in DC, the most poppin' food spots to go to. The last time I've been to DC was on tour, and the last time I've been there previously was at a funeral when I was like 11 or 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? So I haven't been to, you know, DC even like that. Like, it was just like I happened to just be born there, and we literally just moved ASAP, you know what I'm saying, and literally grew up in Florida since I was 1 year old. That same year I turned 1 year old, you know what I'm saying, until now. Now, you know, I live in LA and everything now, but yeah, man.
He still lives to this day.
I just don't want people to get confused and shit.
Photographer, while his mom, she stayed at home and held down the home front. He also has one sister who he's extremely close
Patriots.
with. Now, Flight's parents, they were always supportive of his goals and their hardworking nature. It inspired their children to stay focused and to keep out of trouble.
Facts.
At least for the time being. We're not there yet, because he does get in trouble. It's a little later in the story.
Oh, no.
Usually, I always have the camera anywhere we go, but the way my parents are, they're very private with their lives, so unfortunately I would not be able to get nobody as soon as we get out this
facts,
car.
man. Yeah, bro, like, hopefully that changes in the future, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people be like, how come you haven't, like, had any videos with your peoples and everything like that? You gotta remember, like, a lot of people, like, it's very, you know what I'm saying, common for some people to, like, fuck with the camera, being on a camera, but you gotta remember that there was a time period where people really, like, if you were growing up on certain time periods, bro, like, you know, my people would tell me certain stories where they'll literally, like, see people get attacked or jumped and shit like that because they're sitting up there trying to record something that they're not supposed to be recording. You know what I'm saying? They grew up in that type of time period, so it's just like they really respect the privacy and all that stuff, man. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, it changes in the future, but I don't know, man. I just gotta respect it, and hopefully, you know, you guys do too.
On camera.
Trust me, I've already tried plenty of times, you know what I'm saying, to
checking with you guys,
make it happen in the future, bro.
You know, boo herself too much or get too shaky or make, you know, herself look way too bad than what she's trying to make herself look. I'm trying to let her know that she has nothing to worry about.
There goes that 2016 Mercedes too I was driving. Not the one I'm driving right now. That's a previous one. If you guys are new to my channel, you know what I'm saying, you'll understand that 2000 Mercedes joke and everything. We're just going to leave it at there, man, because we don't reflect on the past, man. You know what I'm saying?
My parents are very welcoming people. They're old school, you know. They're really not people to just, like, really fear. Like, they keep it real just like every other parent.
That's not the point. I never met parents before.
Growing up, Flight's top two priorities, they were basketball and music.
Facts. You know, it's a funny thing, too. Like, outside just the basketball and shit, like, when it came to the music, like, I always, this is like, I'm gonna have, like, little mini story times and certain pauses throughout the video and everything so you guys get a little bit more, you know, added on biography of me. I always had, like, weird moments in my lifetime where it's like people hinted that I was supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, doing music and rapping and all of that stuff. You know, dating back to little things like 5th grade. I remember I had my homeboy, his name was Axel, you know what I'm saying. Shout out to my dog Axel if you happen to see this video. He went to Troy Lake Elementary School with me. That's my nigga. But he ended up getting kicked out because he got in a fight, you know what I'm saying, over, you know, some bullshit or whatever. And it was that bad that they kicked this dude out. It was still stupid to this day, you know what I'm saying. But that's my dog, you know what I'm saying. But I remember one time when class was about to end, and this is like literally the first, you know what I'm saying, the first instinct that I knew that, you know, maybe I'm supposed to be really doing this music-ish. It was the most random thing. Like, we wasn't even talking about anything with rapping wise, but we were putting away our notes or whatever for the day. And I remember he was writing something down in his notebook about, like, something, you know what I'm saying? And then one thing led to another, and then he was just like, you see the way I just said motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? This is literally what he's saying. He was like, you see the way I just said motherfucker? Make sure when you rap behind a beat or whatever, you know what I'm saying, you say motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And that's literally, he just kept it like that. And I was like in the back of my head like, wait, why is he telling me, like, how to say certain words? Like, I haven't even made any song yet or anything or even thought about rapping at that point, you know? And it's just little things like that. That's how I knew God literally put you in certain positions to, like, be like, wake up, like, this is what you're supposed to do. And then, like, other times, for example, 6th grade, I remember when I was supposed to be taking notes. This was in my science class. And I was literally writing down, like, little rap freestyles or just rap lyrics or, like, you know, like, writing, like, shit in my head that I could make into a song or whatever. I was just messing around, you know? And I remember a girl that had a little crush on me, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Angela, you know what I'm saying? I remember her name, you know what I'm saying? Nice Latina vibe, you know? She was just like, what you doing over there, Kimani? And I was just like, nothing, you know? And then, you know, my teacher caught attention to it, and she looked at my paper. She was like, oh, so you don't like to write notes in the class, huh? How about you perform what you just wrote down on the paper? You know what I'm saying? Little things like that. You know, I ended up getting in front of the class. I was nervous as hell. I ended up just, you know, repeating what I said on the paper when I was writing down rap lyrics, but I was making it cool, you know what I'm saying? And then the teacher, even though she was, you know, she didn't understand what I was saying, kind of, I was cussing still. She was like, okay, you know, you kind of have some flow there. And there's so many other things, you know, I can tell you guys that a lot of people would give me hints that I was supposed to be doing music, bro. So that's how I know God. Can't nobody tell me God exists, bro. God is the number one thing. That's the reason why I'm here today. You know what I'm saying? So the point of everything that I was just talking about, everybody, any hints that you get in life that can lead to something, like take those hints, bro, and start what you're doing now. Let's say like if you're drawing something and somebody's like, oh, you have good drawing skills, you could be an artist. Like that's a sign from God right there. Like that's something you should be, you know, that's just an example. Let's continue though. You know? I always like to share those little hints. And even too, you know, I forgot to throw in there, like when I was like growing up in my neighborhoods and stuff back in the day, like, you know, I would walk home from school, whatever, like everybody would, you know, either be like, yo, you a rapper, you know what I'm saying? Or they'll act, you know, if I was a ball player and everything, you know? So it'll just be like, it'll be always little hints like that that'll always, you know, jog in my head like, okay, I think I'm supposed to be really...
His influences were Allen Iverson,
Facts.
Snoop Dogg, Fabulous, Chris Smoove, and of course, Stephen Curry.
Look at Curry, man. Yeah, inspirational-ish, man.
Oh, that was a pass. Bro, that was a pass, bro. I've never seen that.
At first flight, he attended school at Liberty Park Elementary from kindergarten to grade 2. He then moved on to Chloe Lake Elementary from...
Oh my gosh, I knew he was going to say these names wrong. It's Choli Lake Elementary.
Grade 3 through 5, before arriving at Okeechobee Middle School.
Oh, no, Mike McGruden. Okeechobee Middle School. This is my favorite time, though, when I was actually, you know, going to school and everything, 6th through 8th grade. This right here is a legendary-ass school, bro. I had the best moments, the worst moments, the dangerous moments of my life, the best, like, you know, everything, you know. And I would never forget because I feel like right here, this middle school, it made me to the person who I am today, you know?
6 through 8. Okeechobee? I guess that's
Okeechobee
whatever.
Middle School.
Lordy people. No flight, he found elementary and middle school to be a rough time in his youth. There was a lot of gangs, there were fights, there were drugs, and violence that intersected with his daily life.
Yeah, facts, you know, and, you know, these are certain stories, too. You know, I don't like to really announce and, you know, sometimes make story times on because you've heard similar stories like this to multiple people, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I don't want to have anybody being, even when you hear the rest of this whole, you know, before we were famous, I just want you guys to know, I don't want you guys to ever feel bad for me or ever feel like you wish that there was something different. I'm actually blessed that certain things happened in my lifetime, you know, because it made me to the person who I am. It made me grind to the person who I am. It made me hungrier. It made me more ambitious and just made me have a drive that is rare in a lot of people these days, you know what I'm saying? But what I can tell you, you know, that elementary and middle school, you know, especially during that time period, it's that typical, you know what I'm saying, stereotypical thing, you know what I'm saying? And I just don't like to brag about it. I don't like to talk about it. But one thing I can tell you, once I did get to high school, though, he'll say it in the thing probably. But, you know, things did get better, you know. But elementary and middle school was a lot tougher for one because I had a late puberty stage. I didn't go through puberty really until the end of 10th grade, going to 11th grade. So up until probably 10th grade, I was literally 5'3", 4'11" to 5'3". That's the most I grew is a 5'3". So imagine, you know, you guys see me now as 6'3". Imagine me, you know what I'm saying, braids, you know what I'm saying, long, tall tees, double, triple XL t-shirts, you know what I'm saying, you know, Reebok shoes, Shaqs, and everything like that, you know, 4'11" to 5'3". Like, I'm an easy target, you know what I'm saying, easy target to everybody, you know, so.
Now, he was bullied a lot in grade 4 and grade 6 because of trivial things like the type of shoes he wore.
Facts, yo, you know, and at the time being, like, I was like, man, like, you know, this sucks. Like, I used to, like, really be angry at certain things. You know what I'm saying? This is why you always need to be grateful for what you have. Like, I always used to be walking to school and looking out at my kicks. I would just be like, damn, man, I wish I was rich. I wish I just had, like, all the Jordans I see on the Jordan card and everything like that. You know, and I'll always remember my mom, like, telling me, you know, just be grateful, honey. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, at least you're able to have a nice warm meal. You know, you have a bed to sleep on at the end of the day. You always can't have the newest, freshest retro Jordans and everything, but at least always value those things in life. You know, the simple priority things. And, you know, I remember that was the most realest shit she's ever said, you know, still to this day. It hurt, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, man, tough times don't last, man. Always be grateful for what you have.
What are those? One day while walking home from school in grade 7, while flight, he was jumped by a gang and attacked. Now, it turned out to be a case of mistaken identity.
Yeah.
The intended target was someone else who just looked like him.
Yeah, I don't know if I, like, refer to mention this, like, in my past videos and even my OG subscribers. I may go back to doing some story times, too, you know what I'm saying? Let me know if y'all interested, actually, in that. I used to do them, if you guys are new to my channel, I used to do, like, story time and stuff, like, where I tell stories, self-explanatory, where I tell stories of my past and everything. But I just grew out of it and got out of it. But I can go back to it. You just let me know, You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is definitely like one of the, I say definitely down points. I remember that happened back in 7th grade. Literally, the whole thing was mistaken identity. They thought I was somebody else that had tagged up their neighborhood and everything. If you don't know what tagged up means, it means like doing graffiti and shit. You know what I'm saying? And if you do graffiti on somebody's like, you know, territory and shit like that, it's very disrespectful. But I wasn't the one who did it. You know what I'm saying? It was mistaken identity. Long story short, you know, I ended up going back to school the next day. And the brother of the people, one of the people that jumped me, he had told me everything that, you know, basically there was the wrong person. It was somebody literally that looked like me, because at that time I had like the longest braids in school. Everybody else had like struggle braids and everything. And there was like another nigga that had like braids similar to mine and same skin tone. And that's the one who they meant to get. And he was actually telling me that, like, you know, let's try and solve it out. And at that, you know, I'm always a person, you can say whatever you want, you call me soft or whatever, but I'm always a person that like to resolve things, you know what I'm saying? I was just always a bigger person. And we ended up actually going to the back of the school, you know, during school hours with actually those same people that jumped me. You know what I'm saying? Literally all of them dapped me up. They apologized. You know what I'm saying? The funny story is that literally I just got instant protection from them, you know what I'm saying, for the rest of the time in middle school. Like anybody that was trying to fuck with me, you know what I'm saying, they was going to end up, you know, catching that from them. So it was like, it was low-key weird. Like I kind of got like, you know, it was weird, but hey, man, it happens, you know what I'm saying, for a reason. But make sure you guys, whenever, you know, walking home from school, make sure you're always walking home with a friend. I was always the type of person to be like solo, dolo, and everything like that, you know, so yeah, bro.
But
just be careful out there, man.
Been done. To make matters worse, well, his dad, he also lost his job around the same time, and he was out of work for close to a year.
Yeah, I remember that.
At this point, everything is...
And I think, I don't know if I told him, this is the last time I'm pausing video, by the way, too. I don't know if I stated this, too, because I don't like to, you know, have people have sympathy for me and everything like that. But I think I did forget to tell him on the paper, so he can, you know, obviously, you know, tell him before we were famous. I didn't have my first cell phone until the middle of my 9th grade year. You know what I'm saying? So imagine, you know, certain things like that happen where, you know, you get, you know, jumped or whatever, you know, and you don't even have a homie to call you. You don't have your people to call, you know what I'm saying? You just have to tough it out. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, during that time when I did get jumped and everything for that mistaken identity, you know, I was able to, you know, I wasn't that shook up where I wasn't able to walk and everything. But yeah, man, I didn't have my first cell phone until 9th grade. You know what I'm saying? It was real. And at the time, I was just like, you know, I thought that's how life was normally. I thought that everybody just didn't get a cell phone till 9th grade, you know, because it's just the way things was just moving, you know. And they'll come to find out, you know, really quick, you know, by the time I got to 6th grade, you know, seeing everybody with the newest iPhones, that the iPhones, you know, had that time just started getting popular and everything like that. You know, it sucked, man, you know, but hey, man, you know, tough times don't last, like I said, bro. Keep pushing, man. Be grateful for everything you got.
Like, he took it out by acting at school like a punk. He would get into fights. He would run his mouth at the teachers. He basically just turned into the guy he's not today.
Yeah, facts. And now this is the last time I'm pausing the video, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, make sure you guys out there that's in school, be respectful of your teachers, bro. Like, I'm not going to sit up here and act like I was a perfect nigga, because obviously clear as day, just heard it, you know, just right now. But I remember I used to say some evil ass shit to my teachers, bro. Like, evil ass shit. I remember, like, damn near the worst thing I've ever said to a teacher. It was a guy teacher. And he ended up failing me by like 1.7 percentage points, you know, in the class. He gave me like a 59.3 when all I needed was a D to pass, because a D is a passing grade. And I remember I told him, that's why your wife cheated and divorced you. Because he told us a story that is how his wife cheated on him and divorced him earlier in the year and everything. And I remember I told him that like straight up, like in his face, and he was just like stuck. And, you know, he ended up, you know, calling my parents and everything like that. But I used to say some really evil shit to my, like, teachers, bro. And, you know, other things, you know, getting into little squabbles and, like, fights and everything like that. I've told you story times and everything like that, too. But, yeah, man, you know, back at the time, I was a little hot-headed in middle school. Like I said, when I got to high school, I was a lot more calm. You know, he's going to explain, you know, coming up.
Like a troublemaker.
You know,
but,
you know, like I never was a person that ran off with like a old lady's purse or anything like that. I never hit a lady upside the head. I was never that type of hothead like that. It was just like small hothead stuff, you know. You know, the problem was I just didn't have the cameras on, you know, to show you guys. But
kid with a chip on his shoulder.
It's all good.
You know, it happens.
Okay, if you pass it,
I wonder if he's gonna talk about the basketball, football stuff in middle school. I don't know if I told him that.
If I get
I don't remember.
a 60 or higher, she's not gonna call my mom. If I get an F, she's gonna call my mom right after. She said I was gonna be the first one out of 35 degrees.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
I got a 78. I didn't get anything higher than a 75. That was my highest test score on a math quiz or test that
Facts,
year.
yo, I remember
But
that.
Flight's next chapter would come to define his life to this point. Now, Flight's mother, she transferred him to newly built Palm Beach Central High School.
Facts, yo. So if you guys aren't from Florida, Palm Beach Central, I think it was like built new, like in like 2008ish or 9ish, something like that, or around the time, really early on. I was originally supposed to go to a school. Not only if you guys are from Florida, you'll know, or at least Palm Beach, you know what I'm saying. I was supposed to go to a school called John I. Leonard. That's literally what all my friends, like 90% of my niggas that was in middle school, you know what I'm saying, with all the times I had with them, like 15, 20 plus niggas, all of them was going to John I. John I had like a 60, at that time, 60+% dropout rate, you know what I'm saying. It was like top 5, top 10, you know what I'm saying, worst high schools you can go to in the county. But I was supposed to go there. Now, what happened is that Palm Beach Central got built, you know what I'm saying? It was like in a zone where like it was close where I could either choose to go to John I or Palm Beach Central from where I was living. And my mom was like, I want you to go to this school because Palm Beach Central, it was built in a part of Florida called, in Palm Beach called Wellington. Now, Wellington is like upscale, like, you know, suburb rich type of area, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're from Palm Beach, you'll understand, like there's like a bridge, you know what I'm saying, that goes, it's not a bridge, but it's like a big hill, you know what I'm saying, like on a highway that goes up, and it's like the highway that goes up on a hill, you know what I'm saying, it sections is off. It's like one side is like the rich area, and literally when you go over side, you know what I'm saying, that on that side that I lived at, you know, you go into the more urban area, you know what I'm saying, or to the lower, you know, income living type of places, you know what I'm saying? So she wanted me to go to this school because she thought it was gonna be a best influence, and it was, you know what I'm saying? As soon as I got to high school, you know what I'm saying, I don't even think I even got into a fight like that, you know what I'm saying? Like I had like, you know, little confrontations, but it was nothing compared to middle school, you know what I'm saying? Like I actually low-key had a good time at Central. It was a whack-ass school in my opinion because they're too strict on certain things, you know, compared to how you could get away with certain things in other schools or, you know, just different areas. They were just more strict over here. I didn't like all of that stuff, but they didn't have no dress code compared to my other schools, is, you know, what I was messing with. And in 9th grade, I played on my first basketball team ever, you know what I'm saying?
It was her hope that the school would offer her son better influence.
And by the way, everybody, these are, if you're a real fan, these are pictures back when I was in like 2015, 16. This is actually when I think I was in Orlando. This is at the Florida Mall. Is that what it's called? No, it's not the Florida Mall. It's a Florida Mall. I think it is, right? I think it is. Yeah, it has a hotel and everything in there. But yeah, man, I was not wearing no LV belt and no foams. You know what I'm saying? Best believe it, please. I wish I would have had all the ladies and all the baby moms back there. I do.
9th grade, Flake joined his first and only basketball team. It was something he deeply enjoyed doing, but unfortunately, midway through the season, he got a high ankle sprain and couldn't play it anymore.
And you know what's funny? I had a homeboy that was on my team that year that I gave footage to because he was trying to get recruited and play at, you know, the next level in college and everything. And I'm still pissed to this day because I had that footage of where I actually got injured that ended my basketball, you know what I'm saying, career. And I'm trying to find a way to get out to him and get to that footage, you know what I'm saying? Because if I literally am able to get to that footage and upload it to YouTube, that's an instant 10 million, you know what I'm saying? That's an instant classic. A lot of people are, I'm going to literally shut a lot of people up too, because they'll be like, oh, Flight never played on the basketball team. You know what I'm saying? Bro, I literally, you know, and the cameras was on too. It had some footage on. The cameras was definitely on. You will see your man FlightReacts if I can find that footage. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
Let's go, Flight team.
Come on, McGruder, man. I need the best highlights, man. I'm trying to go to the league in 2021, 2023 latest. Am I going to make a shot, please? Am I gonna make a shot, McGruder? You show the worst highlights, McGruder.
During the downtime,
McGruder, man, I thought we was a brother from another mother. Where's the top 10 highlights of my career that I had just reacted to the other day? I know that obviously this video was released on a Friday after I reacted to that, like yesterday, the video I was talking about on my other channel. But look, man, where are my highlights where I'm at least passing good assists or something?
He became depressed from not being able to shoot hoops and partake in one activity that was keeping him off the streets and, you know, like out of trouble. So he started smoking weed during that summer, heading into grade 10, and as this habit picked up, well, his grades, they began to drop. His GPA, it fell as low as 1.6, and he was rendered ineligible to return to the basketball team.
Facts, man. And I remember that 10th grade year, man, that beginning of the year, like, that's when literally my depression struck at its all-time low, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, especially when you're going to a school like that, you know what I'm saying, Palm Beach Central, you're kind of looked at as just like, okay, like, you need to be having some good grades, you know. So otherwise, like, if you go to, if I knew if I would have gone to John I I would have been able to kind of get away with having low grades or whatever, because I knew, you know, there was going to be certain teachers, you know what I'm saying, that was just going to bump my grades just because of what I was doing and everything like that. But Palm Beach Central, they didn't have those types of teachers like that. Like, they had those types of teachers, but not really, you know what I'm saying? It was a rare breed type stuff, man. And 10th grade was probably like my worst time like ever, you know what I'm saying, like living in life, you know what I'm saying? Wasn't able to play basketball, you know what I'm saying? It was just pretty much just going to school, and it was just like, you know, then after that, 11th grade came, I just didn't even try out again. I didn't even try out. I could have played varsity. I just didn't try out, you know what I'm saying? And it just was going downhill from there.
Now, Flight, he tried to fill in this hole in his life by taking on part-time jobs. So first he got a gig working at Steak and Shake.
Facts.
But he soon got let go from that job for showing up at work high all the time. And then he would mess up everyone's order.
Facts, yo, and you know, for people that, if you're afraid to like smoke before you get on a job or whatever, let's say if you get caught high one time, realistically, a lot of these bosses know that you're high or whatever, or you're doing something before work, or you're on something or whatever. You just can't mess up the orders. That's what was going on with me. I had, you know what I'm saying, got the job, and I wasn't advanced at what I was doing, you know what I'm saying? But, bro, like, when I be coming, you know what I'm saying, stoned at the job, bro, and be making them little 2-4 hour shifts just breeze by, bro. I used to walk in the door, clock in, you know what I'm saying, be stoned. And, bro, I used to look up at the clock and have like 30 minutes left, bro, when my high was about to come down, bro. Like, that used to just be the quickest time, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, man, them people at Steak and Shake wasn't going for it. I had messed up. It wasn't just like 2 orders, bro. Like, I would mess up. They had me on a list, you know what I'm saying? I messed up like probably 8 or 10 plus orders, you know what I'm saying, that they all had tracked down and everything like that. And they just let me go, you know, and I ended up getting he'll probably say it next, but I ended up getting a job at Chick-fil-A. And if you guys ever notice, sometimes in my stories on IG, I eat a lot of Chick-fil-A. I don't know if they put some shit in their food, but Chick-fil-A has some addicting stuff, and I still eat Chick-fil-A every day to this day. And I still mess with Steak and Shake too. They just don't got a lot of Steak and Shake locations out in LA like that, but Steak and Shake was always a go-to munchie spot back in Florida, because they're open 24 hours.
Working at Chick-fil-A, but that gig, it didn't turn out any better. Now, Flight, he was out of that job in 4 months' time. Now, it was during all this that Flight, he first came by the handle that the world would one day call him by. Now, as he continued to attend most of his classes in the 10th grade high, well, people around school, they started dubbing him as Flight, because he was always on flight.
Facts, yo.
Whenever they saw him.
Bro, I used to be in my reading class in first hour, and I had a homie that was just sitting next to me, and he would just play, like, test me every fucking damn day, you know what I'm saying? He would just be like, hey, bro, just look at me for like 5 minutes, and he would just look at my pupils, look at my eyes, and he'll just be like, yeah, you're stoned. You're stoned. Pay attention today. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I just couldn't get away with it. And I remember one day we was in lunch, you know what I'm saying? You know, they was like, you know, Kimani, they were like, your new nickname is Flight. You know what I'm saying? And I remember ever since that day, it was like a catchy ass name, because I remember I had an Xbox 360 at that time. And I was online and stuff a lot. Originally, I think I'm trying to remember what my first exact online name was. I'm literally trying to remember what my online name was for the 360. But I don't remember. So I ended up in long story short, I ended up changing my gamer tag to like Flight23 White. And literally that's been my same gamer tag since like 10th grade. And now I have it on PlayStation 4 and everything like that. So, you know, that's inspirational-ish, man. You know?
The guy was high as a kite. So Flight, it makes sense. Now, as difficult a moment as it was in Flight's life, well, it was actually a bit of a blessing in disguise, because with all this downtime, well, he started gaming a lot more and watching YouTube, where he fell in love with content creators like Chris Smooth. Now, watching these videos, it inspired Flight to create his own content, and when he realized that someone could take a hobby and actually make a career out of it, well, the guy was on a brand new path.
I actually started off YouTube about 4 years ago.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, I always give credit for where it's due, and I put my pride aside, man. Like, real talk, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if he's going to end up watching this or seeing this, but definitely want to, you know, big shout out to Chris Smooth, because especially like in the, you know, African American side, man, like he really like saved like my life, and I feel like a lot of other people's lives, you know, and I feel like he inspired a lot of other YouTubers. You know, a lot of YouTubers just aren't man enough or adult enough to, you know, come forth and say it, you know what I'm saying? But really, you know, at that time, especially when I was not even able to play basketball, you know, school wasn't my thing, so literally it was just like either YouTube or nothing, you know. And I remember watching Chris Smooth, and it was just like he literally gave me hope. He gave me another direction. He gave me drive, you know what I'm saying? He gave me a lot of knowledge too. Like, I would even listen to some of his videos and just learn certain things. You know what I'm saying? Little things with, you know, I remember he would talk about certain things of what he likes to look at for girls and everything. He would say certain hints and everything like that, you know, that would just, you know, hit me. And I was just like, I even like the way like Chris Smooth moves too. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not a flashy nigga. You know what I'm saying? He's not like any of that. You never heard about him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, his anything getting breaking into or robbed or anything. You know why? Because he's not like, you know, flashy. Not saying that like just because you're flashy you get robbed and all of that stuff like that. You know, it happens regardless to even people that be very conservative. You know what I'm saying? But just to see how successful somebody is, and you already know what his, you know, the net worth looking like and everything. You know what I'm saying? That just, it makes me sit back and just, you know, take things into different perspective. You know what I'm saying? It makes me think like, you know, maybe at this certain time, I don't need this chain. You know what I'm saying? How about I invest into, you know what I'm saying, some property, or how about I invest something like this into some land? You know what I'm saying? That's just the type of vibes I get from Chris Move. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, all salute to Chris Move, man. You're a legend. You know what I'm saying? Don't let nobody tell you anything different.
Around that time, and my original account was called Mr. Big Boy 305. And
Facts.
when I had first,
I was trying to say Mr. Big Boy 561, but I don't know. That was very awkward. Somebody took that username at that time, being when I had first made that channel and everything during that time. So that's why I said 305
account. I actually didn't start off making videos. I actually rather did NBA mixes, and
I had no enthusiasm or anything when I was in this video, but I remember just coming home for work too.
That Flight would hold off on chasing his dreams.
I think it was work or summer school.
High school, which came a little bit later than it does for most. Now, with his low GPA and after having failed his FCAT reading state test, well, it took Flight well into his 5th year at Palm Beach Central High School to graduate.
Bro, and that right here, this is the last time I'm pausing the video, by the way. Like, this was so embarrassing, too. This is why I want to tell you guys, as much as I tell you you don't need school and everything like that, at least do the bare minimal to pass, bro. Just imagine you being a 5th year senior, bro. You know what I'm saying? Even though I didn't have to stay the entire year, I only had to stay until November, which was by Thanksgiving when I finally got my diploma late. Just imagine you, all the people thinking you graduated and all the people that you're cool with, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to tell you this from real experience. Even those same people that you're cool with, tight with and everything in high school, your senior year, and they're like 11th, 10th graders, freshmen or whatever, the next year when you come as a 5th year senior, you know, they're going to still probably be cool with you. I'm not going to say that. But they don't look at you funny. They don't look at you like a grown-ass man. They don't look at you, or if you're a woman, they don't look at you as a grown-ass. They don't look at, like, why is this adult? Why are you a grown-ass person still in high school? And, like, I will never forget how some certain people would look at me, or even teachers would look at me like, nigga, what is you still doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like, especially, you know, at that time being too, when I told you Palm Beach Central, and I'm pretty sure it still is. I don't think that school really got bad like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Palm Beach Central is more of like a upper scale rich, you know what I'm saying, like middle class, you know, upper rich type of school. So it's like if you're failing and everything like that, you got them, you know, rich kids looking at you like extra dumb. You know, they're looking at you like, you know what I'm saying, like, what is you doing here? You know what I'm saying, type stuff. And I will never forget that feeling, you know? So that's why, low-key, when this happened, it pushed me to who I was today. Because, you know, if you guys know, I didn't pass the FCAT. And when you don't pass, I don't know if they still have the FCAT going on in Florida, but back then, if you didn't pass the FCAT reading and everything like that, you didn't get your diploma. And I didn't pass my reading. I remember I failed the thing right before I was supposed to graduate the previous year. I failed the FCAT reading by like 2 points, bro. 2 fucking points. I didn't get my diploma, bro. So I had to stay back until, you know, in November, and I ended up passing, ironically, literally by 4 points. You know what I'm saying? The next time, you know, that's how I know God exists. You know what I'm saying? And I remember showing my mom those test results scores, and she literally broke down on the floor crying. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, literally all she wanted me to do is just get my diploma, and she's good, you know? And, yeah, man, it was a very happy time. I remember, too, that same day I got my test results. I was on the 360 at that time. And that same day, I wish I remembered saying this, because he gave me, like, a sheet to write down everything. Only, like, an hour or two. And this would have been a nice better thing to the video. That same day I got my test results and everything, and found out I was going to get my diploma for high school. I met my dog Cash Nasty. You know what I'm saying? If you guys don't know, Cash Nasty is my day one. I met him that same day in the Xbox 360 party. We was playing, it was NBA 2K14, I think. Current gen. It was 14 current gen or 2K13. It was one of those games. 2K14 current gen park mode. Before the next gen came out. You know what I'm saying? Because the next gen, remember, it came out the next month in December. You know? But I remember going into him that same day, you know what I'm saying? And it was just history from there, man. So, yeah, bro.
Now, Flight, he worked...
Things happen for a reason, you guys.
...back up and looking respectful. And he worked hard enough that he was even accepted into Palm Beach State College.
Facts, man. You know, obviously, I was low-key accepted into Yale. I just didn't have the cameras on during the time, you know. Saying clapped it up, and I'm just playing. I never got accepted to Yale and everything like that. And then Palm Beach State College, it's not a school where you get accepted to, by the way, like that. I think he had a mispronunciation, whatever. Palm Beach State, you can look it up too. Palm Beach State is a community college, you know what I'm saying? Anybody can go there, you know what I'm saying? I think you just need a high school diploma, obviously, to go into any community college. But I remember going to this, you know what I'm saying, for literally a month. And then I just dropped out to pursue what I wanted to do. I think it's probably said
which he attended for 1 month before he dropped out to pursue the career that he knew was already calling his name.
Facts.
And working off his own muscle while Flight, he got his YouTube channel, Not Your Average Flight, and FlightReacts off the ground and soaring. Sorry for the pun, but I just had to. Now at first, a lot of his content, it was video game related. We're talking 2K and NBA Live.
Not your average flight
Facts,
coming
yo.
at you when it's time to
get right.
Coming into a My Team game, road to the playoffs. Adjusting my lineup, I'm looking at his lineup. His lineup's looking a little iffy. And
my lineup's looking a little spiffy. I remember the exact thing, yo. That's funny as hell.
So, hey, well, the game will determine who was a better team.
But it was the videos in which he put his personality front and center that really began to pay off for Flight.
Can I get a Netflix and chill for anybody lost and no? I hate talking about stuff like this, man.
Before he knew it, Flight was a bona
Bro, I was off one, yo. My voice is mad raspy.
Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views on the regular. Now, Flight's clout had exploded so much so that he even began dating rapper T.I. from Taylor Girls from 2017 to 2018. And this was a relationship that he documented heavily on his channel.
Lick the other person's forehead.
Wait, I lick your forehead or you lick my forehead?
I think this is for both of us. When it's a dare, I think it's for both of us.
Spicy.
Almost
sizzling hot.
Lick I've seen.
What?
Spicy.
The Flight's come up and has been so prolific that he's also got fans out there who are looking to make sure he winds up on the Golden State.
What? For real? Literally, there's only 1,000 people that need left to be signed, and I'm on the Golden State Warriors 10 days. Oh, facts. Nice.
Playing next to his favorite player of all time, Steph Curry. Man, I don't know if it'll happen. I guess if there were a season...
Let me tell you this, man. If I did a 10-day contract, bro, it's going to turn into a 10-year contract worth $55 billion, man. Come on, man. Stop playing.
For it to happen, this is it. I mean, there isn't even an NBA. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, this is just inspirational, bro.
Man.
Bro, I'm gonna watch this quick clip for like 5 minutes, bro. This is inspirational, bro. I don't care what
Inspirational-ish, man.
This is lit.
Even if it's only for a 10-day contract during a season that's been more or less canceled, well, I still think he'd take it. And do you think he's got a shot in hell? Let me know if you think so in the comments down below.
I got a shot right now. I'm ready. Born ready.
Absolutely.
You know, realistically, you know what I'm saying? I low-key been famous and been in the NBA. I just didn't have the cameras on. You know what I'm saying? All jokes aside.
That's the story. Well, I think I'm going to wrap this one up here because this is before they're famous. My name's Mike McCrud, but you already know that.
Hey, man, I think that's going to cap it off.
FlightReacts for getting back to our questions. We hope he shares this video so more people can find it.
Facts.
And you guys got to let us know who's next in the comments.
Hey, man, like I said, man, shout out to McGruden, man. Shout out to the entire before they were famous people. I just want to say thank you guys, FTC as a whole, for you guys. This is the reason why you guys, right there, I'm talking about you guys and God are the reason why I'm here today. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, throughout this entire story, man, I just want you guys to get nothing but inspired. You know, I always didn't have it the best. I always didn't have it the worst. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, man, we're always just going to strive to be the best that we can be and just the top tier. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you guys to ever, like I said, feel bad. You know what I'm saying, for everything that happened. You know, there's a lot of people that have had 10 times, 20 times worse stories, backstories, you know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you know, I can't complain because it made me to who I am, you know what I'm saying? Just want to thank God for, you know, keeping me, alive definitely, and keeping me motivated and keeping me, you know, focused throughout, you know, saying different times, you know, because, you know, it was a lot of different situations, man, where, you know, I definitely shouldn't have been here, you know what I'm saying? But as usual, man, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to smack that like button on the road to 4 milli.